Hey guys, this is Miriam at High Life Auto. I am out doing a video test drive on my 2006 Ford F150. If you've never been on my video test drives before, the way it works is I drive the vehicle on video and I tell you what I see, hear, think, smell, and feel to give you the best indication of being in the driver's seat without actually being in the driver's seat. I'm not a mechanic and this is not meant to be a 182-point inspection. Rather, it's meant to be a sneak peek into how the vehicle drives and any potential issues I notice as we're going along. So, we'll take a look around the vehicle, we'll take a look under the hood, and then we'll go for a drive. And I don't know about anything about this one except that I drove it. So I drove it from there to here. So here we go. All right, it's an 06 F150. The auction says it's green. Matt says it's gray. I think it's green and gray because I'm pretty sure that it has a different color bed than cab and tailgate. So I think that this is a multiple colored truck. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. But this is definitely a rough truck. It's got some rust on it. It's got some dents and dings and bumps and all kinds of stuff, but we're just gonna go see what it does as far as driving goes, because when you drive a vehicle, who cares what it looks like as long as it gets you around. So we will start with the looks though, because a lot of people do want to start with the looks. You know, the wheel wells, they look pretty good, and I think this is the replaced bed. You know, this wheel wells, they look like they're still there on a Ford. That's pretty decent. Tires are I don't know where the wear bars are. I mean, they're probably at least 35%. I can't find the wear bars, but that means that they're above the wear bars. So there's the wear bars. So they're probably 35-40%. Gas cap is gone. My guess is they got this bed from a salvage yard. They had already sold the gas cap, so it's gone. There was a little bit of rust on the rear cab corner there. It's pretty common on Fords. There is some rust on the rockers there, and on the front cab corner there's also some rust. There was also a big dent right there. I don't know if we got hit by a deer. I don't know if we got hit by an ex-girlfriend. I don't know the backstory, so you got to make up your own backstory. There's some rust on the front wheel wells, and then the tires on the front are, I think they're actually better. Maybe the same. Same as the rear, we're going to say. Let's see. It's pretty solid. It's not falling off anyways, but those are usually those are attached to the frame underneath there, but there was some rust on the rockers. Those are pretty solid though, so they're not 100%, but they're all right. Interior has been clean, which is definitely a plus, so it's pretty impressive on the inside. You've got a little bit of, ripping right there, which is, pretty common. That's kind of thing, something that happens on driver seats. There is a crack in the windshield, kind of right across, all the way across. So just be aware of that if you're from a state where windshield cracks are a no-no. Here's the back seat. Again, it's been detailed. It looks pretty decent. No major, huge issues there. Go around here to the back, where I think we go back to the regular color of the truck. We have the rusty bottom, and this does come down. It's a little bit stiff, but it does come down. The bed looks pretty solid. And then on this side, bed's been hit over here, which is kind of weird. If you're going to replace the bed, why replace the bed with something that's been hit? But I don't know, maybe they got hit afterwards. I don't know, maybe they just got really bad luck. But you've got a bump over there. You've got some rust here on the door. You've got some rust over here. This wheel well has got a whole bunch of rust. So I'm not going to sugarcoat this one. This Ford truck is definitely a Midwest Ford truck. It's going to be one that you just drive because it drives and you don't care what it looks like, or it's going to be one that you use for a donor vehicle, or you use it and fix it up, or you just do whatever you want with it. Everybody has different things that they use these vehicles for. And I've seen it all. So it looks pretty decent under the hood. It looks pretty clean. Sounds pretty decent. I don't really see anything that's jumping out that looks wrong anyways. So sometimes you see things that look really clean, so they might be new. Like those plugs look really clean. Like they're either really clean or they're new. Unfortunately I don't know, because I'm not you know, I wasn't there and I didn't do it, but sometimes that's a sign of maintenance, and maintenance is a good thing. Maybe it's just clean. Maybe they just cleaned it. I don't know. But I just look at little stuff like that because when you see maintenance, I mean, that means that someone took care of their truck. I mean, there's looks like nearly brand new headlights on this thing. I don't know, that seems like a good thing to me. When you put brand new headlights on something, typically it's not because it's a piece of junk. I mean, obviously it's kind of been hit, but I don't know. Okay, anyways, auction said it's got a rusty frame. We're gonna get underneath and look and see if we've got rockers or see if we've got other things. It's a Ford, so it might be any number of things. And it's wet, of course. It's been up in the snow, so you've got your rockers, of course. And I do encourage you to get under here and do this because it's not, you know, I'm 40 and I can do it, so you know, certainly you can do it as well. This is not a tiny little car. You know, you've got a surface rust on stuff. I don't think that there's a little. You can zoom in on that. I don't think that that's some rust, but it's not really penetrating. There's rust right there on the frame that would probably need attention. Probably need some I don't know, plates or whatever. I mean, it's still there, but probably needs some plates pretty quickly. I don't really see anything else on this side. Like I said, you're welcome to zoom in and see, but also when you get here, double check and get underneath here and do what I'm doing and feel it and touch it and poke it and whatever. Poke the bear, you know, whatever. No, I don't want to get down on the ground. It's wet. I sound like my daughter. Okay. Anyways, again, rockers are rusty, and this side is surface rust. So I think you've got just right here on the interior of the frame rail, you've got it's kind of loose. I don't think it's gone yet. I think it definitely is repairable, but it just needs some attention sometime. So we'll see how it drives. Usually what I'm looking for when I look at that, because I've got actually that truck over there has got the entire frame rail underneath there is just like gone on the bottom, and it drives phenomenal. You can't even tell that there's a lick of rust on there, and so I've seen rust make a difference. I've seen rust not make a difference, and so it really, I really look at rust and I see where it attaches to suspension. That's one of the big things that I'm looking at, because that's I think when it makes a difference most of the time. So got leaves in my hair. Okay, so we're gonna do, let's see, driver's side window, it works. Passenger side window works. Rear passenger side window works. Rear driver's side window works. We've got 166,000 miles on here. We're gonna check our four-wheel drive. Parking brake light is on, and my brake is not on, so I don't know if my brake fluid is low or whatever. I haven't checked my fluids yet, so I will check those. But we're gonna check, since we're in four-wheel drive, I assume it works because Matt had to use it to get, when he moved this truck, he had to move it off the snow-covered lot up into the parking lot. So we're gonna move here out of the way and not hit this truck right here. I'm sure they would appreciate that. And yep, we've got four-wheel drive. So I'm gonna put it back in two. We do have this trailer brake here, I think. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it works, but it's on there. So you're welcome to mess with it. I don't know anything about it because it belonged to the last guy. So we've got heat on, and the heat works. It is good and warm in this truck. I'm gonna turn this to AC and just see if we can get any indication of whether or not the AC works. And just right off the bat, I'm gonna say that the AC probably does work. It's pretty warm today, especially for December. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty decent. Got the radio. Radio works. Okay, I'm gonna turn the AC down. I might just turn it off. Okay, there's that. It's a pretty basic truck. But so far everything seems to work. The auction said there's no check engine lights. I did verify that on the computer. There's no code stored in the module, so we're gonna go take it for a drive. So far the worst part seems like it's the body and the frame. So if you can handle something that looks ugly, then maybe you should have married me. Okay. Anyways, Matt never watches these videos, so he won't know what I'm saying. Okay, and we're gonna get out of here. It's got good power. Woo! This sucker's rolling. Good acceleration. Good power. Drives pretty smooth. I mean, it's got a little bit of a truck feel to it. You know, trucks they typically drive a little bit rougher than a car. But it's driving pretty smooth for a truck. It's not hesitating at all as far as shifting gears or anything like that. Turn signals, left turn signal works, right turn signal works. Where's our windshield wipers? Windshield wipers and wiper fluid work. Coming up on this van pretty quickly because I'm going pretty fast, so I'm going to get over and set my cruise, and my cruise even works. So that's pretty awesome, and my brakes are good and solid, no grinding or vibration. This is another one of those trucks that it looks ugly, but it drives really well, and I can't explain that. You know, they always say don't judge a book by its cover, and this is definitely one of those trucks that you don't want to judge by its cover, because it looks ugly, and if you go by the looks, you're not even going to pay it a second look, and you're going to walk away from a really good, probably a really good deal, because I imagine this truck is going to be cheap because of the way it looks, because a lot of people are going, you know, the reality is that people want something pretty. That's what it is. So, I mean, if you're a body person, then this is going to be a really good deal for you, you know, because you could get this and you could fix it up and you could flip it or you could do whatever. But this is a really good driving truck. It's just rough on the body and it needs some welding work. So if you have any questions, my cell phone is 209, no, not 209. My cell phone is 309-267-7200. Thanks, guys.